Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has confirmed that he will attend the United Nations General Assembly in New York this September, despite the International Criminal Court, ICC, issuing an arrest warrant against him. The announcement comes after New York mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani publicly opposed Netanyahu's visit. However, Netanyahu made it clear that he still plans to travel to New York and deliver his speech at the UN. Although the ICC has issued an arrest warrant accusing Netanyahu of war crimes, no country has arrested him so far. Because of this, the court has faced criticism from some people, who argue that it struggles to enforce its own decisions. In his statement, Netanyahu strongly criticized Zoran Mamdani for calling him a war criminal and saying that he should be arrested if he enters New York. Netanyahu accused Mamdani of spreading hatred and rejected the comments completely. On the other hand, Mamdani recently said that New York City itself does not have the legal authority to enforce an ICC arrest warrant. However, he also called on the White House and the U.S. federal government to carry out the arrest if Netanyahu enters the United States. Netanyahu has repeatedly denied the ICC's war crimes allegations related to the Gaza conflict. He described the accusations as false and without any basis. He also said that no amount of pressure will stop him from speaking at the United Nations and presenting what he called Israel's true voice for justice. Meanwhile, the growing disagreement between Mamdani and Netanyahu has attracted even more attention because the Israeli Prime Minister is also scheduled to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump. According to the Prime Minister's office, Netanyahu has completed preparations for an official visit to Washington, D.C., where he will hold talks with President Trump.
Eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
Before leaving for Washington, Netanyahu said the two leaders will discuss several urgent geopolitical issues. Their talks are expected to focus on Iran's nuclear program, the current security situation in the Middle East, and the recent military operations in the region. He also confirmed that the visit comes at the invitation of President Trump. Greater than during our meeting with President Trump, we will discuss all urgent issues, including the situation in Iran, Netanyahu said. In addition, Netanyahu is expected to attend the funeral ceremony of former U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, whom he described as a close friend of Israel. As diplomatic tensions continue to rise, all eyes are now on Netanyahu's upcoming meetings in Washington and his planned appearance at the United Nations, events that could have a major impact on international politics in the weeks ahead. Meanwhile, the relationship between Trump and Netanyahu remains under the spotlight. Since Donald Trump returned to office last year, he and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have met around 6 times. Their most recent meeting took place in Washington on February 11th. However, this latest visit comes at a time when reports suggest that disagreements between the two leaders over how to handle the conflict involving Iran have become increasingly visible. Their relationship reportedly reached one of its lowest points earlier this year during the first round of ceasefire negotiations involving the United States and Iran. At the time, President Trump publicly expressed frustration with Israel's actions, creating tension between the two longtime allies. Trump was reportedly trying to reduce tensions in Lebanon, believing that the ongoing clashes between Israel and Hezbollah could derail broader peace efforts involving Iran. But just hours before the ceasefire agreement was expected to take effect, Netanyahu authorized new military strikes. The move reportedly angered President Trump, who responded with unusually strong public criticism through the media. In a later interview, Trump reportedly described Netanyahu as a very tough and difficult person. Despite the public exchange of sharp words, Netanyahu dismissed the disagreement, saying it was simply a strategic difference of opinion. He stressed that both leaders remain fully united on the key goals: preventing Hezbollah from becoming stronger militarily and stopping Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. Political analysts also point out that Netanyahu's visit to Washington comes only a few months before Israel's national elections, where he is expected to seek another term in office. As tensions continue to shape the Middle East, The outcome of the Trump-Netanyahu meeting could play an important role in future US-Israel relations, regional security, and the ongoing situation involving Iran. According to a report by Axios, the situation could soon become even more serious. The report claims that President Donald Trump is considering restarting major military operations against Iran, including a possible joint military campaign with Israel. According to Axios, the proposed operation would reportedly resemble the earlier Operation Epic Fury, which took place on February 21. The report also suggests that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to Washington may be focused on discussing these military plans and coordinating the next steps between the two allies. Analysts believe the meeting between Trump and Netanyahu could play a crucial role in shaping President Trump's final decision. The talks are also expected to strengthen military and strategic coordination between the United States and Israel. Axios further reported that President Trump is now at a critical crossroads in deciding the future direction of the conflict with Iran. According to the report, US and Israeli officials are currently considering two major options. The first option is to support a new ceasefire proposal, reportedly brokered by Qatar, which aims to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and reduce tensions in the region. The second option is to launch a large-scale joint military campaign with Israel in an effort to pressure Tehran into backing down. Israeli officials have also indicated that the conflict could quickly escalate into a fully coordinated military operation within days. They say preparations are already underway if the situation continues to worsen. However, Israeli officials emphasized that Israel would only enter a broader war if Iran directly attacks Israel or if the United States formally requests Israeli military participation. Overall, the Axios report suggests that Netanyahu's visit to Washington may be more than just a diplomatic meeting. It could be a key moment in deciding whether the United States and Israel move toward another major military campaign against Iran. As global attention remains fixed on Washington, the decisions made during this high-level meeting could have significant consequences for the Middle East and international security in the coming weeks.